Welcome to my August monthly earnings video. In this video, I'm going to go over my earnings from stock photography and stock video, as well as share my thoughts about the journey. Hey, if you're new here, I am Joel. I am a filmmaker and photographer, and I've been a stock photography and video contributor since 2020. And I basically got into it to try to see if I can turn it into a sort of like a mostly passive income stream. If you're digging that type of content, then show it with a like or even subscribe. So I really do appreciate that. And let's go ahead and get into it. So if you guys are watching this video in real time, thanks, I appreciate that. But you will note that it is a bit late. This is August 2022's video, and I'm filming it the 1st of September. And yeah, that's been because I've been doing a lot of traveling lately, and I also just am getting over like a massive COVID infection, whatever you want to call it. I just got my ass handed to me from that. So I'm still recovering. You might hear it in my voice. But anyway, I had like all these lofty goals of trying to get a bunch of videos put together for you guys. I was going to do a bunch of stuff with the cameras and going around and shooting some kind of like just some street photography and stuff like that. But obviously I haven't been able to get that done since I've been in bed for like 11 days straight. So there's that. So you just have to wait for that. Other news, I actually hit 500 subs. So thank you guys so much for helping me achieve that. I appreciate it. It also means that my community tab is opened up. So if you haven't noticed, I've been on there and I've done a couple polls and stuff to try to get a little better idea of kind of like where you guys are at and what agencies you guys submit to. I'll continue doing that stuff, and you can expect to see some kind of more like real-time update stuff from me there as well. Overall though, August was a pretty big grind for me. I did manage to get a handful of videos and a handful of images uploaded, unlike July, which if you remember in my July video, I was completely passive because I didn't had time to do anything, and still had a really good month. And then August, well, I also had a really good month too, but I did get a chance to get a bunch of videos and stuff uploaded, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Yeah, so those are all the highlights coming, so here we go. All right, so now let's talk about my stock photography video and earnings. I mean, that's the whole reason you're here, right? Tune into this, trying to see how well I did, and then also so you can compare it against how you're doing or anything like that. And as you know, I always start with my best agency first, and actually August, my best agency was Wirestock. So we'll go ahead and get into the numbers on that. The main reason was because I sold a bunch of vertical videos through Adobe Stock. And essentially Wirestock had sent an email out saying that, I think it was in July, saying that Adobe was looking for a bunch of vertical videos that they could do like an instant pay on it, which is essentially, in this case, it was a 1-year buyout, because you know I'm not a big fan of the instant pay. But in this case, it was a 1-year buyout on Adobe Stock, which is a stock agency I do trust. So yeah, so I went ahead and I scoured my hard drive and tried to like find as many clips as I could put together real quick. And I ended up editing and submitting 29 different vertical videos in August, and I had 5 accepted. So not a lot, but hey, as you'll see here in a second, it turned out pretty good. My Wirestock portfolio in August was 513 images, and of course, adding all those videos got me up to 90 videos. Now, in total, I had 9 images downloaded, and I also had 6 overall video downloads too. Total earnings were $77.63. So needless to say, this is one of the best months I've ever had. It actually is the best month I've ever had with Wirestock. I've been doing an experiment with them, and it's been kind of up and down. So as you know, if you guys have been following these videos, I've been sharing kind of like, there's some definitely pros and cons to it. But anyway, this month was pretty good. So let's go ahead and get into that. And the first thing I want to share with you is this video here. I earned $17 after Wirestock's cut and Pond 5's cut. Basically just shot of a moving truck, a U-Haul on Interstate 5 in Oregon in an early foggy morning. It's actually from a road trip that I did a couple years ago with my wife. And yeah, so that was pretty cool that one sold. Also, here are a couple of those vertical videos that I talked about. Now, each of these sold for $10.20. This first one was a vertical shot of the sun through the grass. And we've also got this shot here of a beach in Puerto Rico. And then another beach in Puerto Rico, a different lifeguard tower that I'm focusing on. And then this close-up of my wife basically eating some ice cream on the beach. So this is pretty cool. I wasn't expecting, I actually uploaded a bunch more stuff which I thought would actually sell, and like a bunch of like vertical over to drone stuff and things, and none of that sold. So, or at least none of that, Adobe didn't want any of it. So, but you know, it was really cool though to actually see those vertical videos actually get like purchased that way. If you remind me in the comments or whatever, I was going to put together a video about vertical video, because I found in doing this that the orientation that you upload your vertical videos makes a big difference as whether or not they'll be accepted by some of the different stock agencies. So in this case, I uploaded everything in actual vertical format, and it was accepted from Wirestock as well as Adobe Stock, but none of the other agencies accepted my vertical videos. So I'll do a whole nother video about that, kind of go into maybe like, it's kind of what I figured out, like best practices and stuff. So now let's talk about photo sales with Wirestock. As I said, I had 9 photo sales total, but this one here actually sold 4 times. So that was like most of my sales. And this is of Ross Lake in Washington State. Again, it's from a trip actually almost like 8 years ago, I think now. But it earned a total of $2.23. Next up, we've got this close-up of these like the saddle and horse bridles hanging on the wall. And this is another shoot that I did back in Texas a few years back on a project I was working on, and it sold for 32 cents. Then we have this Santa Monica palm silhouette. You may have seen this. It sells it sells quite a bit actually. It also sold for 32 cents. And then finally, this Wild Horses in Texas at Sunset, and which was also from the same shoot that horse bridles came from, but it sold for 84 cents. And then finally, this shot here was a first for me, because it was the first image I've actually sold through Wirestock's extra channels program. And it was this one here of these yellow barricades. And that one actually earned me 47 cents. And so another aspect of some of the earnings I had from Wirestock was referrals. And I actually made $4.60 from referrals, and that was from 92 sales. So what that means is that all of you guys who signed up through my referral link all had sales, 92 sales actually. So that's quite a lot of sales, which is pretty darn cool. I like to see that. Yeah, anyways, let me know in the comments below if you think any of those referral sales were yours for something, or if you sold something through Wirestock and you'd signed up through my link or whatever, because I'm really curious to see like how it's working for you. Let me know like what your experience has been in the comments below. Okay, and then of course, if you're interested in Wirestock or even another agency maybe that you're not currently submitting to, then of course, you know, you can check out my links in the description if you decide to sign up. You don't have to, but if you decide to do so, I do appreciate it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into second place. And second place this month was SS, right? Which is the agency that shall not be named. And I thought I'd go ahead and, I know everyone keeps giving me a bunch of crap about this. I was like, why don't I ever like name this massive stock photography agency by name? Even though it's pretty obvious who it is, if you just look at the pictures. It's mostly because there's a couple other stock photo YouTubers like Handcraft Films and The Teaching Doc who have gotten into some trouble in the past over revealing like their earnings. So I've just basically decided not to like directly like point it out. I mean, there's a bunch of other YouTubers that I follow that actually just straight up say it and don't have any problems. So, but I don't know. I guess I'm a little cautious with that. So, anyways. Mostly because I just haven't had time to like scour through the terms of service, and it's just easier just not to mention it than have to spend time trying to figure out whether or not I can get away with it or not, or, you know. So anyways, I obviously feel it's important for us to share our earnings along with examples of what we're selling, because I think it's helpful for you as an aid in your own stock photography journey. as it helps you figure out like what types of images are actually selling, and also it just is kind of inspiration as well. So now off my soapbox, and we'll go ahead and get into the earnings. My portfolio on the site is 690 images in August, and I had 72 videos uploaded. I ended up with 19 image downloads and 1 video sale. Total earnings were $23.70. So overall in the month of August, I actually had 25 different images accepted, and actually just a couple of videos also accepted. Now, 2 things there. I am still splitting my submissions between Wirestock and submitting directly. And then also, this agency is notorious for like rejections. So I had like tons of rejections as well, which some of them because they're like maybe too similar, and then the other ones for like noise and stuff, which is, again, I get that a lot. I don't know, I'm not sure why that is, but so let's start with my video sale, because I like video sales because they pay a lot more money. So this video here of a sprinter van in Northern California, it's the same one that you may recognize from last month that sold on Video Time for the first time. But this one actually sold for about 1/3 of the money that I earned from VideoHive. Now I did have a few notable sales, including one sale that was over $7. You notice this weed sign here. This one, you can probably guess why it sold. But yeah, another sale from a sign. So, oh wow, that's hard to say. Another sign sale. There you go. There were also a few on-demand sales as well, including the following. This shot here of the Don Cesar in St. Petersburg, Florida, sold as an editorial. This one here of the Jameson Distillery in Ireland, also sold as an editorial. This red lifeguard hut in Puerto Rico actually sold as a commercial image. And there's actually a few more images that sold through subscription sales. And for those of you know, like most of the subscription sales end up being somewhere between 10 cents and like, maybe 60 cents or so. So here's just a few of those that sold as well for me. This shot here of the Pike's Place sign in Seattle. It's actually the Pike's Place Market sign in Seattle. It was obviously sold as an editorial image. This one here was actually this vertical shot of my wife, or portrait shot if you want to call it that, was also a commercial image and one of the few model released images that I have. This next shot here, the Star of India, which is this really cool like iron-hulled sailing ship. Actually, you can find it at the San Diego Maritime Museum, and it was actually sold as an editorial. And then this one here sold twice, and you guys probably seen this one a lot. It sells all the time. It's the shot of the St. Pete Pier in St. Petersburg, Florida. Sold as commercial. And finally, this shot here of my wife and I on a catamaran in Hawaii. This was from a vacation of ours in, I think it was in Maui a few years back. And this was actually shot on a GoPro. So again, best camera to have is the camera you have with you. So if you guys are, I guess, any of you out there that are new to stock photography, I mean, whatever you've got, if you've got a cell phone, you've got a GoPro, whatever you've got, just take the shot, and you can always upload it, and sometimes you might be able to sell that. So it just, if it captures the emotion in this case, right? And of course, it's also model release because my wife and I both signed releases for it. And of course, that also adds value too as a commercial image. All right, so now let's go ahead and get into my third best stock agency for August, and that was actually Adobe Stock. So with Adobe Stock, I had 616 images in my portfolio in August and 60 videos. I had a total of 7 downloads. All of those were actually photo downloads. I didn't have any video sales in August, which is, definitely disappointing. But I did earn $6.25. So it's not the highest month for me on Adobe Stock, at least especially not the last few months. But hey, I'll take 7 image downloads and I'll definitely take $6. So here are a couple of the highlights of what sold, starting with this shot here, this high angle shot of the reefs in Puerto Rico. This was sold as a commercial image and it sold for 99 cents. This next one here of Liquio Beach actually sold 2 times on Adobe Stock. It sells a lot. It's one of my best sellers on Adobe Stock, and both of those came to $2.41 earnings. And then finally, this other red hut on the beach, which is, I think was also Liquio Beach, but just a different shot from the same day of shooting. And that one earned me $1.21 as a commercial image as well. Okay, so now let's get into my dishonorable mentions. These are the stock agencies that basically, I maybe had 1 or 2 sales, or, that's it. very sad. My sad stock agencies for August. I did have a few sales from Streams Time, iStock Getty, 123RF, IM, Deposit Photos, as well as Canva. And I also got a final payment from 2020. I thought last month's final payment was my final payment, but apparently I got another final payment, so that's cool. And that was for 98 cents. So my total sales for all of the rest of my stock agencies for August was $7.75. So here's just a couple of the images that were sold, and we'll just kind of talk about those real quick and then tell you how much they sold for, as well as the agencies that they sold on. Starting with this one here, yet another picture of the Don Cesar. This one sold on Deposit Photos as an editorial image, and it earned me 30 cents. Shot here of my wife at nighttime is another commercial and model released image. It's sold on IM via Getty Images for 45 cents. This one here of these horses running in Texas, again from that same series, sells quite a lot for me. A commercial image also sold on IM via Getty Images through their partner program, and it earned me 17 cents. Here's another one of my wife working on her laptop, and this was a commercial image. Again, another model released image that sold on iStock for 10 cents. This shot here of these condos against the evening sky sold as a commercial image, also on iStock, and it earned me 11 cents. And then I'll leave it with this one here of this palm tree in Puerto Rico on the beach there. This one sells all the time for me on iStock, and as a commercial image, it sold 2 times as well, and it earned me a total of $1.43 for August. And finally, I didn't have any other sales on any of the other agencies, including Alame, Pond5, or even Fine Art America. Okay, so now it's your turn to tell me how your sales were in August. You can let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if there's anything else that you're curious about, like that you want me to do a video about, maybe like a short explainer video where I can, if there's a photography concept or something like that that you're not sure about, let me know and I can try to put together a video for you. That does bring us to my earnings for August of 2022. But of course, before I get into those earnings, I want to ask you to do me a favor, and that is give the video a like, and so that other people can help find this type of content. And of course, if it's been helpful for you as well, then give it a share, or show your appreciation by using any of my links in the description, or you can even buy me a virtual beer. And I should note that I'm in Prague at the moment, and the Czech Republic is crazy cheap. So you can get beers for $2, really good beers for $2. So buying me a virtual beer goes a long ways. You can actually buy me 2 beers or 3 beers for $5, so it's kind of cool. But anyways, there's links in the description if you are interested in doing any of that. Thank you so much in advance. All right, so now let's get into the totals. All right, so August total was $112.63, and that was from 43 image downloads and 7 video downloads. Now, my average portfolio was 611 images if you just across everything, and average of 106 videos across all of the different agencies that I have. So some of my agencies I haven't really uploaded a lot to in recent times, so it's some are 200, some are 100, some are 1,000. So it's kind of a mix there. But as you can tell, that was absolutely my best month ever this August, and which is pretty cool because that's coming off of another excellent month for me, which was in July. So I've had a really good summer, and really appreciate that. Year over year, that was $69.47 increase over what I earned in 2021, which is actually a really big increase. And you could probably chalk most of that up to some of those video sales through the Adobe thing too. So I'm glad I got that email, and I'm glad I actually did something about it. Which also reminds you that video is important. So if you are not doing video, then I highly recommend start uploading some videos, and apparently you can even upload some vertical videos too and get some sales there. Like I said, I will do a video about that because you kind of have to format them a little differently if you want them to be accepted at most places. But yeah, those video sales overall contributed to 3/4 of my income in August. Guys, thanks so much for watching. You can check out my other channel, Wandering Hearts, to see some more of my travel videos In fact, some of the stuff that we're doing right now, this last summer, some of those videos will start coming online as well here as we, in the next month or so. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helps to inspire you with your own stock photography journey. Also, if you find any of the content helpful, again, you can use the links in the description, or again, like I said, you can buy me a virtual beer. But you know the rest, like, subscribe, and follow along. Cheers.